From a federal prison. You will not be charged for this call. This call is from
Joe.
This call will be recorded and subject to monitoring at any time. To accept this call, press 5. To block this call and all future calls, press 7. To reject this call, hang up now.
Joe Exotic, thank you so much for taking the time to join us from federal prison. Take my audience into that prison with you right now, sir. Are you being treated well? There's been rumors swirling about your health. How is life in prison for Joe Exotic?
Well, first of all, let me tell you that the federal government and the federal prison system is the biggest shithole I think our country ever invented. Because their medical care sucks, their food sucks, and the buildings are falling apart around them. We need to either let a whole bunch of people go home, or we need to stop funding rebuilding Ukraine and everyone else, and start taking care of our shit here at home.
Are you able, Joe, to get decent food, to keep up your nutrition, to exercise? And could you give my audience an update on your health? Like I said, rumors swirling about cancer and things. How are you feeling these days?
Well, I went through a year of treatment for prostate cancer, and I was in Butler, North Carolina, at the prison hospital there, locked behind a door in a 6-by-12-foot room with no TV or anything, puking my ass off for a year solid. And now I went through October of last year, I went through x-rays of my lungs, and then I did CAT scans in January of this year, then I did PET scans in March of this year, and they just took me to the hospital last week, and they said that I 99% chance have lung cancer in my left lower lobe of my left lung.
Well, all of us, I can speak for all of us out there and all the Joe Exotic fans, we hope that you're getting the care that you deserve and you're feeling better. Joe Exotic joins us on the program. You're accused of murder for hire to have a hitman murder Carol Baskin. Did the government in the beginning have any justification for locking you in a cage?
No. And that was the crazy part about how they set this whole thing up and got a jury to follow along with this and everything. Because, they had no proof other than Alan Glover saying that I gave him money. Okay? And then they had that undercover FBI agent try and get me to buy him a gun, and I wouldn't. Try to get me to go get phones at Walmart, I wouldn't. Then tried to get me to give him $10,000, and I wouldn't. Then he cut it down to $5,000. I wouldn't give him no money. And I knew what they were up to, okay? But now, if you go to joeexoticofficial.com and look at the evidence link, Alan Glover, the hitman, has admitted to perjury, and then he went one step further and admitted and took the film people and my lawyer to the zoo and showed them where he hid a murder weapon, where him and Jeff had actually planned on killing me and putting me in prison didn't work. So the question to the American Justice Department is, why the hell am I still in here?
Joe Exotic, on this program, I interview a lot of politicians all the way from the White House on down, and many of those politicians are in the Trump world. I'd like you to pretend right now that you have the ear of Donald Trump, who very well could be elected our next president. If you have his ear at this moment, Joe, what would you tell him? What is your case to be pardoned?
First of all, President Trump, look at it this way. You've been indicted 94 times. And then I saw in the news today that they're going to...
This call is from a federal prison.
Because 94 times ain't enough. This is the system that we American citizens are going through, okay? You're like a billionaire, and you've spent over $60 million trying to defend yourself, and they still convicted you of 34 felonies. So imagine what every black and brown and poor white person is going through in this country that can't do the same thing financially. And we're being kidnapped and slave worked in federal prison for $5.25 a month to work 5 days a week. and it just doesn't make sense. But you're a smart enough man to know that if you look at the evidence and then ask yourself how come the Department of Justice covered up and used felons to put me here to pass the Big Cat Safety Act when we now have proof and recordings from their own very phones of bank fraud, identity theft, rape, sex trafficking, and this is what our U.S. attorneys and our FBI agents covered up in order to put me here for Carol Baskin, so she could have a monopoly on tigers. This is not the America you stand up for. I know it's not. Okay, so I made it 55 years without a speeding ticket. I had the dream of owning my own business. I took care of my elderly parents every day. They died since I've been in here. I lost my marriage. I've been through cancer. I got cancer again. I lost my zoo. I lost everything I ever worked for because I believed in America. And I believe in you.
Well, Joe Exotic, I got to tell you, and I understand that you are also running for president, and I just might write you in. But I got to tell you that I understand that Trump's sons, who have both been on this program, they're very aware of you, obviously, and they're aware of your case. So there is quite the chance, especially given everything legally that you laid out that Trump has been through, that you could be pardoned. And I've read your appeal, and I think that you do have grounds for the sitting president to look at that. Joe, if you are pardoned, let's have a little bit of fun on a lighter note. What's the first thing you would do on the outside?
Okay. First of all, let me tell you, I was running for president, but I've suspended my campaign and I've officially endorsed Trump 2 weeks ago. So as an openly gay man, Mr. Trump and Don Jr., I am catching all kinds of hell for supporting President Trump, your father. All right, so give me a little credit there. But look, if I either win my appeal or President Trump pardons me, okay, the first thing I'm going to do, okay, you want to have a little fun with this. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go across the street to 7-Eleven and buy me a pack of Marlboro Lights, which is cheaper than $225 of what the guards sell them for in here, for a pack. Then I'm going to drive to Fort Smith, Arkansas, and lock myself in the house with my fiance for a couple days. Then I want to go to Congress, and I want to testify in front of Congress about the drugs and the corruption and the bullshit that goes on within a federal fenced-in prison. Because the war on drugs and that war on that border ain't shit compared to the war on the drugs that is inside a fenced-in federal prison. There's more drugs in here than there is out there. So everybody needs to drop the war on drug bullshit. But my big thing is I want to be in Trump's cabinet. I want to be in President Trump's cabinet as the director of the Federal Fish and Wildlife.
Oh, my goodness. And I got to tell you, $225 for a pack of smokes. What the hell is that all about?
Hey, $7,000 for an ounce of meth.
Oh, jeez. Well, so we're here with the Tiger King. And by the way, your fans wanted me to ask you, would you consider another season of the Tiger King when you get out?
I'm actually, I have 6 terabytes of never seen footage, and I have my own producers, because I was doing my own show before I got arrested, because I didn't film for Tiger King. They took my footage off of my computers after I got arrested. So we're going to film the return of the Tiger King, you betcha.
Another thing, Joe Exotic, at one point, you were one of, if not the most famous person in the world, trending #1 on Netflix. How aware were you of what was happening on the outside?
I'm still not aware of what's happening on the outside. I won the Social Media Superstar Award for 2021, and I was nominated for 6 Emmys in 21. But the only time that I've ever, other than all the inmates knowing that I'm famous that are coming to prison that watched Tiger King, was they hauled me from the airport in Oklahoma City down here when I came from Butner, North Carolina, to here. and they brought me in an unmarked police car in the back, and I sat in the back seat, and they were kind enough not to handcuff me, and and had a comfortable ride down here. But what was funny was
This call is from a federal prison.
one out of every three cars that passed us slowed down and took pictures because every person recognized me. It doesn't matter how old, how young they were, even 4 years later in the back seat of an unmarked police car on I-35 coming from Oklahoma City.
I mean, Joe,
Fort Worth, they recognize me.
Joe Exotic, you're one of the most recognizable figures really in the country. And when you do get out of prison, I have to tell you, I was reflecting on this morning, you're not going to be able to walk through a supermarket. You're not going to be able to go to a shopping mall. You're going to have private security. And this is all going to cost a lot of money. I mean, have you thought about life on the outside? It is going to be like a freaking shock to your system.
Well, I've been offered a world tour, a concert tour, and I'm going to take them up on that. And all of my people keep telling me that I'm going to need some kind of bodyguards or security. But you know what? I'm looking forward to getting out and meeting all of my fans, and we're going to have the biggest coming out party you've ever seen.
Well, I hope you'll join us here in Arizona and have a little fun with us in studio, and we'll take care of you. How is that coming out party going to look like?
It's going to be the hugest beach party you've ever seen, and if we have to have a couple of them, one on the East Coast, one on the West Coast, and one down south, that's what we'll do. But my goal is to thank every fan around the world for the support all this time, because I still get a ton of letters every day. I respond to every letter. People have carried me through this, because if it wasn't for the support system, I would have gave up.
I know you're a gay man, Joe Exotic, but there's a lot of women out there that they dig you, man. I mean, they like your look. You're an exotic kind of guy. Do you get like panties and stuff sent to you?
What's crazy is almost every letter's from women. I get very few letters from men. But they don't allow anything sent in. But I have a huge female fan base, absolutely.
Well, in the opening moments, Joe Exotic, of Tiger King, the very opening moments of the program, you said, quote, "I went to work every day prepared to die in a tiger cage. Dying doesn't scare me." Now you're facing the United States federal government in the fight of your life for your freedom. Are you scared?
No. Yeah, and if I don't win my appeal and President Trump doesn't give me a pardon, I hope cancer kills me, because I'm not giving the federal government 11 more years of my life to this shit, to be an innocent man in prison. Look, when we can trade the world's most dangerous arms dealer for a basketball player out of Russia, and we can trade $6 billion and several prisoners for 3 American people that are just American nationalists. They're not even really true Americans. But we can't let an innocent man go in America. Dude, we got some issues, and it almost makes you hate America.
When you wake up in the morning, a lot of prisoners must think, man, I got a family, I had a job, life on the outside, it would be so great. But for you, you're in a very unique situation. When you put your boots on the ground every single morning, do you think, like, my goodness, I could be really wealthy, I could be really rich, I could have the pick of the litter in the United States, and I could be one of the most famous people ever? I mean, it must really be sad.
Billy, this thing's fixing to hang up on us here in about 30 seconds. But when I put my feet on the ground every morning, all I do is pray to God that I get out of here. I would give up every bit of fame to just walk out of here and go back home and wash dishes at a restaurant for a living. Seth Posey, my fiance in Fort Smith, Arkansas, has been there for me every day, 3-4 times on the phone every day for the last almost 4 years. He's what's kept me going. But my fans have, and please, I need legal help right now, paying for these lawyers. So get on joeexoticofficial.com, make a donation, help me out, send me a letter. I love it.
There he is. That was the Tiger King himself, Joe Exotic, right here joining us. What an amazing interview, and you could tell that the penitentiary, the prison system, cut him off there. The man is living in a cage. The man is living behind bars. And new evidence, even this week coming out, and I read Joe's appeal, seems to say that that hitman is retracting his statement. I ask you, should Joe Exotic be in prison? I ask you, is this really what the federal government should be spending their time and money on? And I ask you, do you support Joe Exotic? I'll tell you what I support. Freedom of speech. There he was, the Tiger King, Joe Exotic. Please like, subscribe. We'll be back with more bombshell interviews.